What is up, everybody? JT Dangerously once again. I am back from my 2018-2019 College Football Bowl predictions. Now, with the regular season in the books, we are now into my favorite part of the college football year, the bowl season. And the race to see who will win this year's College Football Playoff National Championship is indeed on. So I am very excited to do my College Football Bowl predictions for you guys this year. This is going to be a very long video, so sit back, relax, grab some drinks, grab some food, and I hope you guys do enjoy. Now, our record last year doing this was really good. We went 23-18, so our first year was our very good year. So hopefully in this video, going into our second year of doing College Football Bowl predictions, we will cap it off with another winning record. Hopefully. Now, if you have not checked out my Ring of Honor's Final Battle predictions yet, definitely go check that out. This is the second of 3 big videos that will be up on the channel today, so hopefully you guys will be able to watch all of these videos. As always, show your support by watching these videos, super kicking those like buttons, hitting that notification bell, and commenting your picks, your opinions, and representing your college football teams in the comment sections down below. Now, if this is your first time watching my channel, as a first time viewer, and this is your first video, boy, you picked to go in if you're a huge college football fan like myself, and you're ready for this year's bowl season. Welcome to the Dangerous Alliance. I'm JT Dangerously. Welcome to the club, because this club is 2. Whoop, whoop. Again, thank you guys so very much. Now, other than that, let's get right into these College Football Bowl predictions. Now, let's start off on Saturday with the first bowl of the season. It is the Celebration Bowl between the North Carolina A&T Aggies facing the Alcorn State Braves. Now, I'll be honest with you guys, I don't know a lot about either of these teams. North Carolina A&T is coming in at 9-2. Alcorn State's coming in at 9-3. So, this is going to be a straight deer in the headlights pick. So coming from me in the Celebration Bowl on Saturday, I'm going to go with the North Carolina A&T Aggies to defeat the Alcorn State Braves. And now the next bowl matchup. It is the New Mexico Bowl between the Utah State Aggies facing off against the Mean Green of North Texas. Now this is the 8th meeting between Utah State and North Texas. Utah State leads the old-time series 4-3. Mean Green have won the last 2 meetings, including their last meeting in 2004. And the Aggies are looking to defeat North Texas for the first time since the year 2000. Now, Utah State's coming in at 10-2. They had an amazing year in the Mountain West Conference. They fell short in making it to the Mountain West Conference Championship, and they're looking to cap off an amazing year with a bowl victory. Down on the other side of the North Texas Mean Green coming in at 9-3. They had maybe their best season in a long time. And what else can you say? They have the best football team name I've ever heard, the Mean Green. And North Texas looking to cap off a great year with a bowl victory. So coming from me in the New Mexico Bowl, I'm going to go with the Utah State Aggies to defeat the Mean Green of North Texas. And now the next bowl matchup. It is the Auto Nation's Cure Bowl between the Green Wave of Tulane facing off against the Louisiana Lafayette Ragin' Cajuns. Now this is the 27th meeting between Tulane and Louisiana Lafayette. Tulane leads the old-time series 22-4. The Green Wave won the last meeting in 2016, and the Ragin' Cajuns are looking to defeat Tulane for the first time since the 2003 New Orleans Bowl. Now, Tulane's coming in at 6-6, and they're looking to cap off a pretty okay year with a big bowl victory. Down on the other side of the Louisiana Lafayette Ragin' Cajuns coming off their loss in the Sun Belt Championship against Appalachian State, so they're coming in at 7-6, and they're looking to cap off a pretty good year, making it to the championship game, but not winning, by winning this huge bowl game. So coming from me in the Auto Nation's Cure Bowl, ooh, man, both teams have great football team names. The Green Wave versus the Ragin' Cajuns. 2 fantastic college football names. But I'm going to go with the Louisiana Lafayette Ragin' Cajuns to defeat the Green Wave of Tulane. And now the next matchup. It is the Las Vegas Bowl between the Arizona State Sun Devils facing off against the 2018 Mountain West Conference champions, this city's Fresno State Bulldogs. Now this is the 4th meeting between the Sun Devils and the Bulldogs. Arizona has won the last 3 meetings against Fresno State, and Fresno State's looking to finally beat Arizona State. Now, Arizona State coming in at 7-5, and this has been a pretty good year for first-year coach Herm Edwards. He definitely hasn't lost a step, and he's looking to cap off an amazing year this year by getting his first bowl victory. Down on the other side, you have the Fresno State Bulldogs coming off their big win over my Boise State Broncos in overtime to win their first Mountain West Conference Championship for the first time since 2013. And I'm going to continue to say, Jed Tedford is the Mountain West Coach of the Year. Coach of the Year this year in the Mountain West Conference. You cannot deny this guy has earned everything he has done. I mean, he coasted Cal. They did pretty well. He came here to Fresno State, and he has definitely brought this city back to life. This Fresno State Bulldogs team is coming in at 11-2. He went from having a 10-win season last year to having an 11-2 season this year and won Fresno State's first Mountain West championship since 2013. McMarion has done a fantastic job at quarterback, and Fresno State's looking to cap off an amazing year with a bowl victory in Jed Tedford's second bowl appearance. So coming from me in the Las Vegas Bowl, oh man, Arizona State has been pretty solid, but coming from me, I'm going with this city's Fresno State Bulldogs to cap off an amazing year and defeat the Arizona State Sun Devils. And now the next bowl matchup. It is the Camellia Bowl between the Eastern Michigan Eagles facing off against the Georgia Southern Eagles. So it's the Battle of the Eagles. Now, Eastern Michigan's coming in at 7-5. They're looking to cap off a good year with a bowl victory. The other side of the Georgia Southern Eagles coming off a very good year, coming in at 9-3, and they're looking to cap off a big regular season by getting their 10th victory. So coming from me in the Camellia Bowl and the Battle of the Eagles, I'm going to go with the Georgia Southern Eagles to defeat the Eastern Michigan Eagles. And now the next bowl matchup. It is the New Orleans Bowl between the Middle Tennessee Blue Raiders facing off against the first ever Sun Belt champions, the Appalachian State Mountaineers. Now this is the fourth meeting between Middle Tennessee and Appalachian State. Middle Tennessee leads the all-time series 2-1. The Blue Raiders have won the last two meetings, including their last meeting back in 1992, and Appalachian State's looking to defeat Middle Tennessee for the first time since 1974. Now, Middle Tennessee is coming off their tough loss to the UAB Blazers in the Conference USA Championship game on championship week, so they're coming in at 8-5, and they're looking to cap off a big year with a big bowl victory. Down the other side, you have the Sun Belt champions, the Appalachian State Mountaineers, coming off their championship win over the Louisiana Lafayette Raging Cajuns. They're coming in at 10-2, and they're looking to cap off an amazing year with a big bowl victory. So coming from me in the New Orleans Bowl, oh man, Middle Tennessee is pretty good this season, but I'm going to go with the Appalachian State Mountaineers to defeat the Middle Tennessee Blue Raiders. And now the next bowl matchup, which will happen on December 18th, it is the Boca Raton Bowl between the Northern Illinois Huskies facing off against the UAB Blazers. Now, Northern Illinois is capping off an amazing year this year. They won their fourth MAC title by defeating the Buffalo Bulls. They're coming in at 8-5, and they're looking to cap a fantastic season off with a bowl victory. Then on the other side, you have the UAB Blazers, coming off their Conference USA Championship victory over Middle Tennessee, and what a story this has been. I mean, this team didn't have a football team in years. They come back a year ago, and now this year they won the Conference USA Championship. They're coming in at 10-3, and they're looking to cap off an amazing college football story. So coming from me in the Boca Raton Bowl, man, Northern Illinois found a way to beat Buffalo late. So they can definitely keep this game close, but I'm going to go with the college football story of the year, the UAB Blazers, to defeat the Northern Illinois Huskies. And now the next bowl matchup, it is that which happens on Wednesday, December 19th. It is the Frisco Bowl between the Ohio Bobcats facing off against the San Diego State Aztecs. Now, Ohio's coming in at 8-4. They were pretty solid in the MAC conference, and they're looking to get a big bowl victory here. Then on the other side, you have the San Diego State Aztecs coming in at 7-5. This was definitely not their best year because you had teams like Fresno State and Utah State and Boise State. But San Diego State is looking to cap a pretty okay season with a big bowl victory. So coming from me in the Frisco Bowl on Wednesday, December 19th, I'm going to go with the San Diego State Aztecs to defeat the Ohio Bobcats in a close one. And now the next bowl matchup, which happens on December 20th, which is the Thursday, it is the Gasparilla Bowl between the South Florida Bulls facing off against the Thundering Herd of Marshall. Now, South Florida is coming off a very rough year this year. They're coming in at 7-5. They're coming off their loss to UCF in the war on I-4. And USF is looking to finish the season off strong with a bowl victory. Down the other side, you have the Marshall Thunder and Herd coming in at 8-4. They've had a very good season, and they're looking to cap it off with a big bowl victory. So coming from me in the Gasparilla Bowl on Thursday, man, I'm going to go with the Thundering Herd of Marshall to defeat the South Florida Bulls. We are Marshall. And now the next bowl game matchup that happens on Friday, it is the Bahamas Bowl between the Florida International Golden Panthers facing off against the Toledo Rockets. Now this is the fourth meeting between Florida International and Toledo. Florida International leads the old-time series 2-1. Florida International, won the last meeting at the 2010 Little Caesars Bowl, and the Rockets are looking to defeat the Golden Panthers for the first time since 2009. Now, Florida International is coming in at 8-4. They're looking to cap off a great year with a big bowl victory. Now, on the other side of the Toledo Rockets coming in at 7-5. This was not a great year for Toledo, but they're looking to cap it off with a big bowl victory. So, coming from me in the Bahamas Bowl on Friday, I'm going to go with the Florida International Golden Panthers to defeat the Toledo Rockets. And now the next bowl matchup, which happens also on Friday, it is the Potatoes Bowl between the Western Michigan Broncos facing off against the BYU Cougars. Now the Western Michigan Broncos are coming in at 7-5. They're looking to cap off a pretty good year with a bowl victory. The only other side of the BYU Cougars coming in at 6-6, and they're looking to cap off a very okay year with a bowl victory as well. So coming from me in the Potato Bowl on Friday, BYU's defense is pretty solid. So coming from me, I'm going to take the BYU Cougars to defeat the Western Michigan Broncos. And now the next bowl matchup, which happens on Saturday, it is the Birmingham Bowl between the Memphis Tigers facing off against the Wake Forest Demon Deacons. Now this is the fifth meeting between Memphis and Wake Forest. The series is tied 2-2, so whoever wins this will end this tie. Memphis won the last meeting all the way back in 1967, and the Demon Deacons are looking to defeat the Memphis Tigers for the first time since 1966. Now, Memphis is coming in at 8-5 after blowing a huge lead in the American Athletic Conference Championship against the undefeated Central Florida Knights. So they're going to be coming in pissed. They're going to be coming in mad because they had that game wrapped before the whole half fell apart for Memphis. And Memphis is looking to cap off a good year with a bowl victory. The only other side of the Wake Forest Demon Deacons coming in at 6-5. I didn't watch a lot of Wake Forest games, but they're looking to cap off a pretty okay season with a bowl victory as well. So coming from me in the Birmingham Bowl on Saturday, I'm going to go with the Memphis Tigers to defeat the Wake Forest Demon Deacons. And now the next bowl matchup. It is the Armed Forces Bowl between the Black Knights of Army facing off against the Houston Cougars. Now this is the eighth meeting between the Black Knights and the Cougars. Houston leads the all-time series 5-2. The Cougars have won the last three meetings, including the last one in 2004, and the Black Knights are looking to defeat the Cougars for the first time since 2001. Now Army could be coming in at 10-2 or 9-3 because the Army-Navy game happened last week, so we don't know where they're going to be at, but Army is looking to cap off easily their best year in college football. They won the Commander-in-Chief's trophy. They could be coming in knocking off their rivals in Navy, and Army's looking to cap it off with a big bowl victory. The only other side of the Houston Cougars coming in at 8-4. I know a lot of people had Houston being a threat in the American Athletic Conference, but they just did not come to be. They're coming in 8-4, and they're looking to cap off a pretty good year with a bowl victory. So coming from me in the Armed Forces Bowl, I'm going to go with the Black Knights of West Point Army to defeat the Houston Cougars in a close one. And now the next bowl matchup. It is the Dollar General Bowl between the Buffalo Bulls facing off against the Troy Trojans. Now the Buffalo Bulls are coming off a heartbreaking loss to the Northern Illinois Huskies in the MAC Championship on Championship Week. They're coming in 10-3, and knowing this Bulls team, they're looking to cap off a fantastic season, easily their best season in a long time, by getting a big bowl victory. Down on the other side, you have the Troy Trojans coming in at 9-3. They were in the race in the Sun Belt Conference before losing to Appalachian State, and they're looking to cap off a good year with a bowl victory as well. So coming from me in the Dollar General Bowl, man, I felt so bad for Buffalo. That was their chance to finally beat Northern Illinois, and they just fell short in the fourth quarter. So I'm going to go with the Buffalo Bulls to defeat the Troy Trojans. And now the next bowl matchup, which is the Hawaii Bowl between two former WAC conference rivals, the Louisiana Tech Bulldogs, heading to Hawaii to face the hometown team, the Hawaii Rainbow Warriors. Now, this is only the 11th meeting between La Tech and Hawaii. Hawaii leads the old-time series 8-2. The Rainbow Warriors have won the last two meetings, and the Bulldogs are looking to defeat the Rainbow Warriors for the first time since 2009. Now, starting off with Louisiana Tech, they're coming in at 7-5, and they're looking to knock off these two are former WAC rivals. If you remember the Western Athletic Conference, these two were really good, very tough rivals for Fresno State in the past. And Louisiana Tech is coming in 7-5, and they're looking to cap off a pretty okay year with a bowl victory. Then on the other side, you have the Hawaii Rainbow Warriors coming into this game as they're playing in their home field. This is practically a home game for Hawaii. They're coming in at 8-5. This is maybe their best season in a long time in the Mountain West Conference, and they're looking to cap off a great year with a big victory at home. So coming from me in the Hawaii Bowl, just because they're at home, this is practically an easy pick. I'm going to take the Hawaii Rainbow Warriors to defeat the Louisiana Tech Bulldogs. And now the next bowl matchup, which happens the day after Christmas. It is the CEVPRO's First Responders Bowl between my Boise State Broncos facing off against the Boston College Eagles. Now, this is only the second meeting between Boise State and Boston College. Boston College won the lone and only meeting between these two back in the 2005 MPC's Computers Bowl. And Boise State's looking to finally knock Boston College. First time they're looking to beat Boston College for the first time. Now, starting off with Boise State, they're just coming off their heartbreaking loss to the Fresno State Bulldogs in overtime in the Mountain West Conference Championship. Even though they lost, I was happy for Fresno State to finally win the Mountain West title. But Boise State's coming in very good this season, 10-3, another 10-win season, and they're looking to finally beat Boston College for the first time since 2005. Then on the other side, you have the Boston College Eagles coming in at 7-5. A lot of people did not talk about Boston College in the ACC Atlantic, being Clemson was the best team in that division. But this one's going to be a really good one. You got A.J. Dillon, who I think is going to be a stud if he comes out of college and goes to the NFL. But this Boston College team is looking to cap off a great year with a bowl victory against the Broncos. So coming from me in the CEVPRO First Responders Bowl the day after Christmas, I'm going to go, this one's tricky, I'm going to go with my Boise State Broncos to defeat the Boston College Eagles in the Responders Bowl. And now the next bowl matchup. It is the Quick Lanes Bowl between the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets facing off against the Minnesota Golden Gophers. Now, Georgia Tech is coming in at 7-5. They had a pretty okay season in the ACC Atlantic, and they're looking to cap off a pretty okay year with a bowl victory. The only years had the Minnesota Golden Gophers coming in at 6-6. Even though this was not their best year, they did beat Wisconsin for the first time in decades, and they're looking to cap off a pretty good year with a bowl victory as well. So coming from me in the Quick Lanes Bowl, I'm going to go with the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets to defeat the Minnesota Golden Gophers. And now the next bowl matchup, and this is easily one of my favorite names for a bowl this year. It is the Cheez-It Bowl that will be played at Chase Field in Arizona between the TCU Horned Frogs facing off against the Cal Golden Bears. Now, TCU is coming off a very not-so-great season. They're coming in at 6-6. Easily, this was a very bad year for TCU in the Big 12 Conference. I mean, TCU used to be a big-time threat in that conference, but this year was just not their year. So they're looking to cap off a very lackluster season by getting a big bowl victory. Down here, you have the Cal Bears coming off their tough loss to the Stanford Cardinals in the big game on the final week of the regular season. They're coming in at 7-5, but I'll just say right now, this has been Cal's best season in a long time. And they're looking to cap off a good year this year by getting a bowl victory. So coming from me and one of my favorite bowl names this year, the Cheez-It Bowl, I'm going to go with the Cal Golden Bears to defeat the TCU Horned Frogs. And now the next bowl matchup, it is the Independence Bowl between the Duke Blue Devils facing off against the Temple Owls. Now the Duke Blue Devils are coming in at 7-5. They had a pretty okay season in the ACC Coastal this year, and they're looking to cap off a good year with a bowl victory. The only year to try, you have the surprisingly better Temple Owls, who are coming in at 8-4. They easily had their best season in a long time. I mean, this is not even Temple basketball. This ain't even with John Chaney. This is Temple football that stepped up this season. I mean, this is the team that knocked Cincinnati from the ranks of the unbeaten this season. And Temple's looking to cap off an amazing year with a bowl victory. So coming from me in the Independence Bowl, oh man, this one's so tough. The Fighting Cutcliffes versus the Temple Owls. I'm going to go with the upset here. I'm going to go with the Temple Owls to defeat the Duke Blue Devils. And now the next bowl matchup, it is the Pinstripe Bowl, which will be played at Yankee Stadium this year between the Miami Hurricanes, or the U, facing off against the Wisconsin Badgers. Now this is the sixth meeting between the U and Wisconsin. The Badgers lead the all-time series 3-2. Now the Badgers have won the last two meetings, including their last meeting in the 2017 Orange Bowl, and the U is looking to defeat Wisconsin for the first time since the year I was born, 1989. Now, starting off with Miami, this was definitely a bad year for the Hurricanes. They were last year in the ACC title game. They were in the Orange Bowl last year, to now being in the Pinstripe Bowl this year, coming in at 7-5. And Mark Richt better turn it around next season, or he's going to be gone. And Miami's looking to cap off a very rough season by getting a big victory in Yankee Stadium. Then on the other side, you have the Wisconsin Badgers, who almost got the same fate as Miami this season. I mean, a lot of people had the Wisconsin Badgers winning the Big Ten championship, and all of those dreams got shattered by losses to Northwestern, losses to BYU, and they're coming in at 7-5. And this could be Jonathan Taylor's last game at Wisconsin. I think he is a senior, correct me if I'm wrong. And Wisconsin's looking to cap off a very rough season with a bowl victory as well in Yankee Stadium. So coming from me in the Pinstripe Bowl in Yankee Stadium, oh man, Miami's best chance of winning this game, that turnover chain has got to step up, and N'Keal Perry has to start, because if they start Malik Rozier, it's not going to be a good day for our Miami Hurricanes fans out there. So coming from me, I'm going to go with the U to defeat the Wisconsin Badgers in a shootout. And now the next bowl matchup, it is the Academy Sports Plus Outdoors Texas Bowl between the Baylor Bears facing off against the Vanderbilt Commodores. Now this is only the third meeting between Baylor and Vanderbilt. Baylor had won the last two meetings against the two, and the last meetings between these two was all the way back during the 1953 and the 1954 college football season. So Baylor is looking to continue their winning streak against Vanderbilt, and Vanderbilt is looking to get their first win over Baylor. Now both teams are coming in at 6-6, and this is basically almost a home game for Baylor, because this is going to be in Texas. So this is almost right up Baylor's alley. So coming from me in the Outdoors Texas Bowl, I'm going to go with the Baylor Bears to defeat the Vanderbilt Commodores. And now the next matchup, it is the Music City Bowl, which happens on Friday between the Auburn Tigers facing off against the Purdue Boilermakers. Now, starting off with Auburn, they're coming in at 7-5. They had a rough year in the SEC this year. They're coming off their blowout loss to the Alabama Crimson Tide in the Iron Bowl, and they're looking to cap off a very okay season this year by getting a bowl victory and maybe being a threat next season in the SEC. The only other side of the Purdue Boilermakers coming in at 6-6. A lot of people, and I heard a lot of people saying that Purdue their record doesn't show how much talent they have on the field. And a lot of people were thinking this team was going to be a threat in the Big Ten. And hell, they did beat Ohio State. but they definitely did not exceed everybody's expectation about them. And Vanderbilt's looking to cap off a very rough year by getting a bowl victory. So coming from me in the Music City Bowl on Friday. Oh, man, this one's going to be a good one. But I'm going to go with the Auburn Tigers to defeat the Purdue Boilermakers. War Eagle! And now the next bowl matchup, and this one's going to be a really good one. It's the Camping World Bowl between the West Virginia Mountaineers facing off against the Syracuse Orangemen. Now, this is the 61st meeting between West Virginia and Syracuse. Syracuse leads the all-time series 33-27. The Cuse has won the last 3 meetings against West Virginia, including the 2012 Pinstripe Bowl, their last meeting in a bowl. And West Virginia is looking to defeat the Cuse for the first time since 2009. Now, starting off with West Virginia, they're coming off a great year this year in the Big 12 Conference, 8-3. They gave a lot of teams a lot of problems in the Big 12 Conference, including my Oklahoma Sooners. They gave Texas a run for their money. And West Virginia is looking to cap off a fantastic year. Willie Greer has done a fantastic job at West Virginia, and they're looking to cap it off with a big bowl victory. Down the year side of the Syracuse Orangemen coming in at 9-3, easily their best year since the Donovan McNabb years when he was playing at Syracuse. This was easily their best year in a long time, and Syracuse was easily Clemson's only threat this season in the ACC, and they're looking to cap off easily their best year in years by getting a big bowl victory here as well. So coming from me in the Camping World Bowl. This one's so tough. Willie Greer versus against Dungy. This one's going to be a good one. But coming from me, I'm going to go with Willie Greer and the West Virginia Mountaineers to defeat the Syracuse Orangemen in a really, really close one. And now the next bowl matchup, it is the Valero Alamo Bowl between the Washington State Cougars facing off against the Iowa State Cyclones. Now the Washington State Cougars are coming off their heartbreaking loss at home to the Washington Huskies on the Apple Cup on Black Friday. They're coming in at 10-2, and really they dropped the ball. They were at the cusp of going to the Pac-12 championship, but fell short to their rivals in Washington. So they're looking to cap off a disappointing season. Even though they went 10-2, they didn't get to the Pac-12 championship, and they're looking to finish up the season with a bowl victory. The only other side of the Iowa State Cyclones coming in at 8-4, as it was as good, like last year was great for Iowa State, but this year was pretty mundane. 8-4 is not too bad, but last year's season was just amazing for Iowa State. And Iowa State's looking to cap off a good year with a big bowl victory. So coming from me in the Valero Alamo Bowl, I got to go with Mike Leach and the Washington State Cougars to defeat the Iowa State Cyclones in a close one. And now the next bowl matchup, which happens on Saturday, December 29th. It is the Belk Bowl between the South Carolina Gamecocks facing off against the Virginia Cavaliers. Now, this is the 36th meeting between South Carolina and Virginia. The Gamecocks lead the all-time series 21-13-1. The Gamecocks won the last meeting back in 2003, and the Cavaliers are looking to defeat the Gamecocks for the first time since 2002. Now, South Carolina's coming in at 7-5. It was not their best year in the SEC, but they're looking to go into next season and possibly be a threat. And they're looking to top the season off with a bowl victory. The only other side of the Virginia Cavaliers coming off maybe their best season in a long time. They went 7-5. They were in the race in the Coastal all the way up to the end, but they fell short to the Pitt Panthers. And Virginia is looking to cap off a great year with a bowl victory. So coming from me in the Belk Bowl on Saturday, December 29th, I'm going to go with the Virginia Cavaliers to upset the South Carolina Gamecocks. And now the next bowl matchup. It is the Arizona Bowl between the Nevada Wolfpack facing off against the Arkansas State Red Wolves. Now this is the 6th meeting between the Wolfpack and the Red Wolves. Nevada leads the all-time series 3-2. The Red Wolves won the last meeting all the way back in 1999, and Nevada is looking to defeat Arkansas State for the first time since 1996. Now, starting off with Nevada, they're coming in at 7-5. This was not their best season, but it was a winning season, and that's what matters. And they're looking to cap it off with a bowl victory here. Down the other side of the Arkansas State Red Wolves coming in at 8-4. They had a damn good season this year. They fell short in getting to the finals of the first ever Sun Belt Championship, and they're looking to cap off a good year with a bowl victory. So coming from me in the Arizona Bowl, oh man, this one's a tricky one, but I'm going to go with another upset. I'm going to go with the Nevada Wolfpack to defeat the Arkansas State Red Wolves. And now the next bowl matchup. This is going to be the first of the New Year's Six bowls, the big bowls in the college football bowl season. And it is the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl between the Michigan Wolverines facing off against the Florida Gators. Now this is the fifth meeting between the Wolverines and the Gators. Michigan has won the last 4 meetings against Florida, including the last year's meeting. And Florida is looking to defeat Michigan for the first time ever. Now, starting off with Michigan, they're coming off easily their best season. They went 10-2. But when it came to playing a team like Ohio State, they got handled. If you saw that scoreboard, they were the number 4 team in the college football playoff going into week 12. They were a win away from being in the college football playoff guaranteed. But what did they do? They gave up 60 points to Ohio State at home and cost them everything. And they cost them the Big Ten championship. They cost them the college football playoff semifinals. And Michigan, once again, was Ohio State's bitch. And this game is definitely a big game because we don't know if this is going to be Jim Harbaugh's last game. Because, yes, Jim Harbaugh did have a fantastic season this year. But he still could not beat Ohio State. And possibly being, if you did not hear, Urban Meyer is going to be retiring after the Rose Bowl game. So Michigan next season could possibly, maybe end their long losing streak against Ohio State. But the only question is, will Jim Harbaugh be there to see it happen? The other side of the Florida Gators coming off a very good year at 9-3. Dan Mullen did a fantastic job. I can't hate on it. And he's definitely going to be there for the foreseeable future. And Felipe Franks definitely is going to have a big-time game. And the Florida Gators are looking to cap off a great year with a bowl victory. So coming from me in the first of the New Year's Six bowls in the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl. Ah, man. Shea Patterson versus Felipe Franks. Dan Mullen versus Jim Harbaugh. This one's going to be a good one. But coming from me, I got to go with the Michigan Wolverines and Shea Patterson to make it 5 in a row and defeat the Florida Gators in a shootout. And now the next bowl matchup. It is the first of the 2 college football playoff semifinals, and it's the Cotton Bowl Classic between the number 2 team in the college football playoff. They are the 4-time ACC champions, the undefeated Clemson Tigers, facing off against the number 3 seed, the undefeated Fighting Irish of Notre Dame. Now, this is only the 4th meeting between Clemson and Notre Dame. Clemson leads the all-time series 2-1. Clemson has won the last 2 meetings against the Irish, including their matchup in 2015, and Notre Dame's last win against Clemson. Listen to this, folks. Since 1977. The Irish have not beaten the Tigers since 1977. Now, starting off with Clemson, they're coming off another ACC championship. Their 4th back-to-back, and they're looking to cap it off with another big college football playoff victory and make it back to the college football playoff national championship. Dabo Swinney has done a fantastic job. Taylor Lawrence has done a fantastic job. And Clemson didn't really play anybody good. Let's be honest. The only team that they played good this season was Syracuse. And Clemson's looking to cap off maybe their easiest year and cap it off with a trip to the national championship. Down the other side of the Notre Dame Fighting Irish coming in at 12-0. This is easily Brian Kelly's best year as the Notre Dame Fighting Irish coach. And history in this building definitely favors the Fighting Irish. Now, here's a dangerous fact. Notre Dame's last Cotton Bowl victory, you got to go all the way back to 1994. And Notre Dame in that building is 5-2, tied for 4th with tied with four other teams with more than five wins in that building in the Cotton Bowl. So history is definitely on the side of Notre Dame, but just like with Clemson, they really didn't play anybody legit good except for Michigan, and I think if they played Syracuse this year as well. Correct me if I'm wrong, but they haven't played a team as elite as Clemson yet this season. And this is going to be definitely Brian Kelly's toughest game. Ian Book is looking to get it done and finally get Notre Dame to the national championship game. So coming from me in the first of the 2 college football playoff semifinals and see who's going to be winning the Cotton Bowl and make it to the national championship game. Oh, man, this one's so tough. Notre Dame is good. I am not going to deny that. They proved me wrong this year for sure because I was thinking this is going to be Brian Kelly's last year. They're not going to have a great season. They proved me wrong. But coming from me, it's hard to pick against Dabo and this Clemson Tigers team. They are just way too good. So I'm going to take the Clemson Tigers to advance to the national championship game and defeat the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. And now the next bowl matchup. It is the second of the 2 college football playoff semifinal games. It is the Capital One Orange Bowl between the number 1 team in the nation and the number 1 team in college football right now, the reigning SEC champions, the undefeated Alabama Crimson Tide, facing off against the now four-time Big 12 champions, my Oklahoma Sooners. Now, this is only the 6th meeting between Bama and Oklahoma. OU leads the all-time series 3-1-1. OU has won the last 3 meetings against the Crimson Tide, including the 2014 Sugar Bowl, their last one-on-one meeting. And Bama is looking to defeat Oklahoma, and listen to this, folks, since the 1963 Orange Bowl. That's been how long Bama has not beaten my Sooners. Now, starting off with Alabama, this team is damn near unstoppable. I mean, they're coming in 13-0. They defeated Georgia barely, and we'll get to that Georgia thing in this video as well. But Alabama definitely nearly hit a wall against Georgia in the SEC title game, but they got it done. Tua, who is a Heisman finalist this year, and did get hurt. He's going to be out for a couple weeks. He's going to be good for this game, but he did get hurt in the SEC title game, so they put in Jalen Hurns, and just like last year, they did a role reversal. Jalen Hurns get hurt. Tua goes in, wins the title for Alabama. Now, Tua is hurt, and now Jalen Hurns is going to try to help Alabama make it back to the national championship game and looking to win back-to-back national championships for the old grizzled veteran Nick Saban. And Alabama is just 2 wins away from doing that. Down on the other side, you have my Oklahoma Sooners coming off their 4th Big 12 championship, defeating our rivals, the Texas Longhorns, in a great game. Kyler Murray, who is also a Heisman finalist, and for me, he is the Heisman Trophy winner over Tua and Dwayne Haskins. But Oklahoma definitely had a great year. Their only loss was to Texas. Lincoln Riley, once again, has had an amazing year. I would not be surprised either him or Todd Herman at Texas would be the Big 12 Coach of the Year. But the biggest question coming in for my Sooners is our defense. Our defense is shit. And I'll even admit that as an Oklahoma Sooners fan. Our defense is absolutely horrendous. But that's what happens when you play in the Big 12 Conference. You have a lot of offense. You got a lot of offense, but you have absolutely no defense. And Oklahoma's looking to finally beat Oklahoma in the college football playoff. They're 0-2 here, and they're looking to make it back to the college football playoff national championship for the first time in a couple years. So coming from me, in the final college football playoff semifinal to see who will be facing the Clemson Tigers in the national championship game, and to see who's going to win the Capital One Orange Bowl. This one's so tough because I don't pick against my Sooners often. If you've been watching my channel, I have never picked against the Sooners. I think I've only picked against the Sooners a couple times. But coming from me, when it comes to Alabama, if they score, Oklahoma's got to score. If they don't score, Oklahoma is going to be over before halftime. So coming from me, I got to go with the Alabama Crimson Tide to make it once again back to the national championship game and looking to repeat as national champions and defeat my Oklahoma Sooners in a close shootout. Roll damn Tide. And now the next bowl matchups, which happen on New Year's Eve. It is the Red Box Bowl that will be played at Levi Stadium in San Francisco, California, the same place the national championship game is going to be, between the Oregon Ducks facing off against the Michigan State Spartans. Now, this is the 7th meeting between the Ducks and the Spartans. The series is tied 3-3, so we will see who will end this tie. Sparty won the last meeting back in 2015, and the Ducks are looking to defeat Sparty for the first time in 4 years. Now, the Ducks are coming in at 8-4. They had a great season, but their biggest goal was going to try to win the Pac-12 championship. But when you got teams like Washington, you got teams like Washington State, you got teams like Stanford, it was hard for Oregon to win the Pac-12 North. And they're looking to send Kevin Hubert off in the sunset because I'm thinking he's going to come out and go into the NFL draft next season. And the Ducks are looking to cap off a good year with a bowl victory. Then on the other side of the Michigan State Spartans coming off a very rough year at 7-5. Guaranteed their coach is gone after this because they lost some pretty big games this season in the Big Ten Conference. And Michigan State is looking to cap off a rough year with a bowl victory against the Ducks. So coming from me in the Red Box Bowl at Levi Stadium on New Year's Eve, I'm going to go with the Oregon Ducks and Kevin Hubert to defeat the Michigan State Spartans. And now the next bowl matchup. It is the Military Bowl between the Cincinnati Bearcats facing off against the Virginia Tech Hokies. Now this is the 12th meeting between Cincinnati and Virginia Tech. Virginia Tech leads the all-time series 6-5. Virginia Tech won the last meeting back in the 2004 Military Bowl, and Cincinnati's looking to defeat Virginia Tech for the first time since 2012. Now, Cincinnati's coming in at 10-2. They had a fantastic year in the American Athletic Conference, losing to only Temple and I think Central Florida. But they had a great year, and they're looking to cap off a great year with a bowl victory. Then on the other side of the Virginia Tech Hokies coming in at 6-6. And Virginia Tech is coming in with a lot of controversy because on the final week of the regular season, they had to win to be bowl eligible. But the downside is it denied 4 teams from being in a bowl this year, even though they had 6 wins. I think it was Wyoming, Miami of Ohio, who was the other one? Louisiana Monroe, and I can't remember the other 4 teams, but thanks to Virginia Tech's win on the last week of the regular season, that knocked off 4 teams that had 6 wins, but there were no more room in the bowl season this year. So Virginia Tech definitely made some enemies by winning that game against Marshall on the final week of the season. They're looking to cap off a absolutely rough year in the ACC with a bowl victory. So coming from me in the Military Bowl on New Year's Eve, I'm going to go with the Cincinnati Bearcats to defeat the Virginia Tech Hokies. And now the next bowl matchup, it is the Sun Bowl between the Stanford Cardinal facing off against the Pitt Panthers. Now this is the 4th meeting between Stanford and Pitt. Pitt leads the all-time series 2-1. Pitt won the last meeting back in 1932, and the Cardinal looking to defeat the Pitt Panthers since the 1928 Rose Bowl. That's how long the Cardinal have not beaten the Panthers, since the 1928 Rose Bowl. Now, Stanford's coming in at 8-4. They got their big victory over Cal in the big game on the final week of the regular season. And they're looking to cap off a pretty good year. This could be Bryce Love's last game at Stanford. And they're looking to send him off to the NFL draft with a bowl victory. Down the other side of the Pitt Panthers coming in after their not surprising loss to the Clemson Tigers in the ACC title game, and they're coming in 7-6, and easily this was their best season, but once again the ACC Atlantic was ruled by Clemson, and the ACC Conference is also ruled by Clemson. And Pitt is looking to cap off a good year with a bowl victory. So coming from me in the Sun Bowl, I think the Cardinal have waited long enough. I am taking Bryce Love and the Stanford Cardinal to finally defeat the Pitt Panthers. And now the next bowl matchup, it is the Holiday Bowl between the Utah Utes facing off against the Northwestern Wildcats. Now this is only the 3rd meeting between Utah and Northwestern. The series is tied 1-1, so whoever wins this will break this tie. Now the Utes won the last meeting against Northwestern all the way back in 1981, and the Wildcats are looking to defeat the Utah Utes, listen to this, since 1927. They've been waiting nearly a decade to defeat the Utes. Now starting off with Utah, they're coming off their very bad Pac-12 championship game on championship week on that Friday. Losing to the Washington Huskies with a score of 10-3 was easily the most boring championship game during championship week. Their quarterback definitely choked under the pressure. They're coming in 9-4. It was a good year. They won the Pac-12 South, but falling short with a score of 10-3, only putting up 3 points, definitely did not look good on their resume. And Utah's looking to cap off a great year with a bowl victory. Down the other side of the Northwestern Wildcats coming off their loss to the Big Ten champs, the Ohio State Buckeyes, in the Big Ten championship game. They did not look like they had even a chance against the Buckeyes, but they're looking to cap off easily their best year in a long time, and they're looking to get a big bowl victory. So coming from me in the Holiday Bowl, this one's so tough. Both these teams are coming off heartbreaking championship games on championship week. So something's got to give. So I'm going to go with the Utah Utes to defeat the Northwestern Wildcats. And now the next matchup, it is the Gator Bowl between the North Carolina State Wolfpack facing off against the Texas A&M Aggies. Now, North Carolina State is coming off a great year this year. They finished up 9-3, and they're looking to cap off a great year with a big bowl victory. The only other side is the Texas A&M Aggies coming in after a very good 8-4 season this year. Jimbo Fisher did a pretty good job in his first year at Texas A&M. Kelly Mott is looking to cap off a great year, and they're looking to get a big victory here. So coming from me in the Gator Bowl, this one's tough. I'm going to go with the North Carolina State Wolfpack to defeat the Texas A&M Aggies. And now the next bowl matchup, it is the Liberty Bowl between two former Big 12 conference rivals, between the Oklahoma State Cowboys facing off against the Missouri Tigers. Now this is the 53rd meeting between Oklahoma State and Missouri. Missouri leads the all-time series 29-23. Missouri has won the last meeting all the way back at the 2014 Cotton Bowl, which was, I think, Michael Sam's last game as a Missouri Tiger. And the Cowboys are looking to defeat Missouri for the first time since 2011. Now, starting off with Oklahoma State, they had a very rough year this year, coming in at 6-6 in the Big 12 Conference. Mike Gundy definitely had a rough year coaching, and they're looking into next season and maybe being a threat, and they're looking to get a big win to cap off a very rough year. The other side of the Missouri Tigers coming off a very good 8-4 season in the SEC Conference, and they're looking to cap off a fantastic year with a bowl victory. And I know, if I read this right, the former Clemson quarterback who transferred away from Clemson is going to be coming to Missouri next season. So he could be starting for the Missouri Tigers as quarterback next season. I can't remember his name, but let me know in the comment section. So coming from me in this Liberty Bowl matchup between two former Big 12 conference rivals, I'm going to go with the Missouri Tigers to defeat the Oklahoma State Cowboys. And now the next matchup, it is the Outback Bowl on New Year's Day between the Iowa Hawkeyes facing off against the Mississippi State Bulldogs. Now, both teams are coming in 8-4. Iowa's coming off a very good year in the Big Ten Conference. They didn't win the Big Ten Championship, but they're looking to cap off a good year with a big victory. The other year side, the Mississippi State Bulldogs also coming in at 8-4. Nick Fitzgerald's looking to cap off a good year. This could be his last game at Mississippi State because he could be going to the NFL draft if he is a senior. And he's looking to add to his legacy with a bowl victory. So coming from me in the Outback Bowl on New Year's Day in 2019, I'm going to go with the Mississippi State Bulldogs to defeat the Iowa Hawkeyes. And now the next matchup, it is the Citrus Bowl between two very good teams, between the Kentucky Wildcats facing off against the Penn State Nittany Lions. Now this is the 6th meeting between Kentucky and Penn State. Penn State leads the all-time series 3-2. Penn State has won the last 2 meetings against Kentucky, including their last meeting at the 1999 Outback Bowl. And the Kentucky Wildcats are looking to defeat Penn State for the first time since 1977. Now, Kentucky is coming in at 9-3, easily their best year in the SEC Conference. They were right in the cusp of possibly winning the SEC East before Georgia won it. Mike Stoops has done a fantastic job there, and they're looking to cap off an amazing year this year with a bowl victory. Then on the other side, you have the 9-3 Penn State Nittany Lions coming off a very rough year this year. Even though they got 9 wins, they had wins that they should have got against Ohio State, against Michigan State. And they're looking to cap off a good year, not their best, and looking to get a big bowl victory. So coming from me in the Citrus Bowl on New Year's Day, this one's so tough. James Franklin against Mike Stoops. Trace McSorley. This one's going to be a good one, but I'm going to go with Mike Stoops and the Kentucky Wildcats to upset the Penn State Nittany Lions in a shootout. And now the next bowl matchup. It is the PlayStation Fiesta Bowl, a New Year's Six Bowl between the reigning American Athletic Conference champions, the undefeated Central Florida Knights, facing off against the LSU Tigers. Now, UCF is coming off their big win in the American Athletic Conference Championship. They were down most of that game, and they came all the way back to win. And they're coming in with the longest active winning streak in college football right now with 25. And they're doing it even without their starting quarterback, Mackenzie Milton. He did get hurt in the War of I-4 against South Florida, and he gave his best wishes to the team, and what did they do? They capped off another undefeated season in the American Athletic Conference and in college football, coming from behind to defeat Memphis. And this game is all about proving that they belong with the top teams in the college football scene, because this team has been undefeated for 2 years. They have the longest active streak in college football right now, and they're not even getting the respect they deserve. And they're looking to prove it here at easily maybe their biggest game of the year, and looking to knock off a very good LSU team. Down on the other side of the LSU Tigers, coming off a very good year, 9-3. Ed Orgeron did a fantastic job. Burrows did a fantastic job in quarterback, and LSU is going to be a threat next season. Do not get that twisted. LSU is going to be a threat in that division where Alabama and Auburn are going to be. And LSU is looking to cap off a great year with a bowl victory in the Fiesta Bowl. So coming from me, in the PlayStation's Fiesta Bowl, oh, it's put up or shut up time for Central Florida. Are they going to be here to say we belong, or is LSU going to say not yet, my friends? So coming from me, I'm going to go with the huge upset. I'm going with the undefeated Central Florida Knights, even without Mackenzie Milton, to defeat the LSU Tigers in a shootout, and a close one at that. And now the next bowl matchup. It is the 105th Rose Bowl game between the reigning Pac-12 champions, the Washington Huskies, facing off against the reigning Big Ten champions, the Ohio State Buckeyes. Now, this is the 12th meeting between Ohio State and the Washington Huskies. Ohio State leads the all-time series 8-3. The Buckeyes have won the last 3 meetings, including their last meeting back in 2007, and the Huskies are looking to defeat the Buckeyes for the first time since 1994, if you can believe it. Now, the Washington Huskies are coming off easily maybe their worst game against the Utah Utes in the Pac-12 championship game. They're coming in at 10-3, and they're looking to cap off an amazing year by winning the Rose Bowl for the first time since 2001. Down on the other side of the Ohio State Buckeyes coming in, defeating Northwestern to win their another Big Ten championship, and this is definitely going to be the end of an era, because like I said a couple picks ago, Urban Meyer is going to retire after this game. So there's going to be a new era in Columbus, because this is a lot of people wanted this to happen. I know a lot of people who think, oh well, with the whole scandal that he had, I'm not surprised he's retiring. But this game is definitely the end of an era, because Ohio State, after Jim Tressel left, Urban Meyer picked up the ball and he took Ohio State to 2 national championships. So this may be Michigan's chance to beat them next season. But Ohio State's looking to cap off a great year and send Urban Meyer off to the sunset. So coming from me, in the 105th Rose Bowl game, and the Buckeyes are looking to win the Rose Bowl for the first time since 2010. So coming from me in the Rose Bowl game, man, as much as I want to see the Huskies win, this Ohio State team is not going to lose. Dwayne Haskins, who is a Heisman finalist, is definitely not going to let Urban Meyer go off without a W. So I'm taking the Ohio State Buckeyes to defeat the Washington Huskies. OHIO. And now the next bowl matchup. It is another New Year's Six Bowl, and it is the All-State Sugar Bowl between the Georgia Bulldogs facing off against the Texas Longhorns. Now this is the 5th meeting between Georgia and Texas. Texas leads the all-time series 3-1. Georgia won the last meeting against the Longhorns all the way back in the 1984 Cotton Bowl, and the Longhorns are looking to defeat Georgia for the first time since 1958. Now, starting off with Georgia, they're coming off losing to the Alabama Crimson Tide in the SEC title when Georgia made easily the stupidest decision they have ever made. And it was in the biggest game of the year. Now, I got to just say something. Kirby Smart. You know what happens when you try to go for it on 4th down? You know what happens when you try to go for it on 4th down when it's 4th and 11 with 3 minutes left in the game? You know what happens when you didn't trust your defense to stop Alabama and you went for it on 4th down? Kirby Smart?
You just made the list.
They have to make the list. I mean, what sense is going for it on 4th and 11 with 3 minutes left in the 4th quarter? Kirby Smart made easily the stupidest decision in college football history. You talk about Jim Tressel or Pete Carroll making bonehead moves. I guess Kirby Smart said, hold my beer. Let me just show you how it's done. Going for it on 4th and 11 is idiotic with 3 minutes left. It's like Kirby Smart didn't believe in Georgia's defense to stop Alabama because that game was tied before Alabama won it in the end. So Georgia definitely done goofed, and Kirby Smart had to make the list of dangerously. And I know Georgia fans are going to be pissed with Kirby Smart for the rest of his life. And Georgia's looking to rebound after that and win a big bowl game. The only reason the Texas Longhorns coming off a tough loss to my Oklahoma Sooners in the Big 12 championship game, but I got to give them a lot of credit. This is easily their best season they have had in a long time. Tom Herman has done a fantastic job in Austin. They're coming in 9-4, and they're looking to cap off a great year with a huge New Year's Six Bowl victory. So coming from me in the All-State Sugar Bowl, I got to go with Jake Fromm from State Farm and the Georgia Bulldogs to defeat the Texas Longhorns. And now the final bowl matchup. It is the College Football Playoff National Championship game, which happens on January the 7th from Levi Stadium in San Francisco, between my two picks, the Alabama Crimson Tide, the reigning champs, facing off against the Clemson Tigers. Now, this is only the 19th meeting between Bama and Clemson. Bama leads the all-time series 14-4. Bama won the last meeting at the 2018 Sugar Bowl, and Clemson is looking to defeat Alabama for the first time since the 2017 College Football Playoff National Championship. So this is it right here. The two best teams in college football facing off for the national championship. So coming from me, in this year's College Football Playoff National Championship game between Auburn and Clemson, hopefully I'm going to be right. Not Auburn, Alabama and Clemson, excuse me. As much as I want Dabo Swinney and Clemson to win, there's no way they're going to win this game because Alabama is just way too good. They are a locomotive off the rails, and nobody has been able to stop them. And I don't think Clemson's going to have a chance against this Bama offense. So coming from me, I am going to take the Alabama Crimson Tide to once again become the reigning, defending national champions and defeat the Clemson Tigers. Roll damn Tide. And those are my 2018-2019 College Football Bowl predictions. Woo! Now, I want to thank you guys so very much for watching this video today. Comment below, who do you have winning all of these bowl games? Do you see any upsets happening? Who do you have winning the College Football Playoff semifinals between Alabama and Alabama and Oklahoma, and Clemson and Notre Dame? And who do you have winning the national championship this year? Let me know in the comment section below your picks. And as always, represent your college football team. Even if they didn't make a bowl this year, represent them in the comment section. Let's have a conversation about them. Of course, I'm always on to see your comment, like it, and of course, reply right back to you, because comments are absolutely always welcome on this channel. Now, I do want to thank you guys so very much for watching these College Football Bowl predictions this year on the channel. Again, thank you guys for a fantastic year on the channel when it comes to college football predictions. And you already know, we'll be bringing this shit back next September. So, hope you guys will be along for the ride. Now, before you guys go, you guys can never forget to do this. That like button, comment, share with your friends. Of course, super kick that like button like only you guys can. Of course, you can never forget to do this as well. That subscribe button, become part of this bigger and dangerous alliance. And I will see you guys later today for my Week 15 NFL predictions. Later days, guys, and peace.